It's recording. Almost got it, almost got it. We're gonna be YouTube famous. Yeah, this better be worth the money. Guys, we're in. Oh. Guys, I think I turned it off. Dude. Hey, guys, I think we got it. Boss, we got it. Yeah. Black Market Square? All right.
What took you guys so long? What the hell is this? I don't know, but let me go find someone who does know. Hello! These, gentlemen, are poems from World War II. And what's most interesting about these poems is that they're actual retellings of people who have been through the experience. Priceless pieces of history, really.
Priceless? As in a lot of money?
No, these aren't something that you would sell.
Then why the hell would we want them? Who cares about freaking poetry anyway?
Come on, youngins, come to my office and I will show you what everything is about. Pearl Harbor by Malcolm Watts. Does this mean anything to you?
No.
Well, you see, the Japanese launched a surprise attack on an American naval base in Hawaii named Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. And as a result, 2,400 Americans were killed and over 1,300 were wounded. This caused the Americans to declare war on Japan the following day. So? What do you mean, so? This poem, it pays tribute to the American soldiers who were fallen that day. It glorifies the death of the American soldiers by putting on the illusions that they died for our freedom, rather than just dying straight up for the bloodthirsty Japs. This is best exemplified by this line in the poem.
The tourists visit Battle Row and pay respects to those below. To those who lie beneath the sea, they gave our lives to keep us free.
Natty, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm cool. Such big words, though, for someone who wasn't even there. His third-person perspective does show his disconnect from the events, though. He romanticizes the death of the soldiers, which, they do in media nowadays.
Assistant, next person, please.
Certainly.
Aha! This poem here, this should do the trick. This right here is Two Armies by Stephen Spender. Mr. Spender here was a British soldier who fought in World War II. Judging by the tone, it seems like Spender had a grim time out on the Western Front, where the Western Allies, like the British, the Canadians, the Americans, and the French and the Polish, fought Axis forces like Germany and Italy.
So, what happened on the Western Front?
You see, this poem contrasts the romanticism in the first poem that I read, Pearl Harbor. It shows how the soldiers actually felt during the war. And these lines sum that up nicely. Assistant!
All have become so nervous and so cold that each man hates the cause and distant words which brought him here more terribly than was.
was written in third person, even though the author had first-hand experience.
So, this is the real deal?
Yes, this poem breaks the illusion that we see in propaganda today. You get it now?
Assistant, next victim, please.
I'm coming right up.
Now then, what's next? This poem is entitled, I'm not too sure I'm familiar with this one. Oh, but the description says that this poem was written by Sturman George Lechner. He was a German soldier serving at the Eastern Front. He wrote this poem about how he longed for home.
What's the Eastern Front?
Yes, the Eastern Front was mainly the area of conflict between Germany and Russia. This front was much more violent than the Western Front. Of the 70 million people who died in the war, over 30 million were from the Eastern Front.
Well, that's like half.
Congratulations, you can count. So on that note, let us begin.
I saw my hometown very near. I heard the bell of the clock ringing. The bell that often had called me to hurry in those long, peaceful days. That was before we made our way through the Russian steppe.
The soldier's longing for home. He yearns to go back, but he feels like fighting in Russia is necessary to defend it.
Yes, this first-person perspective helps connect the author to the reader, which is exactly what happened to you. Good. Next! Let's finish up with this last poem. August 6th was a poem written by Toby Sankichi. Right after the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima after Japan's refusal to surrender. Estimates on the death toll range from 90 to 166,000 people, and countless others that have been affected by the radiation. This poem will give you a first-hand experience of what it was like after the destruction and the detonation because of the bomb. I guess it's your turn.
Huh?
Listen to this stanza.
Prevailing over this city of 300,000, amidst that calm, how could I forget the entreaties of the departed wife and child through their orbs of eyes?
How do you feel?
He lost his wife, his kid, his home. That must have been the most horrific thing that ever happened to him. Being alone. I just tear up thinking about it.
Good! You can see a first-hand account of what actually happened that day through this man's eyes.
I've been thinking, maybe these poems are worth something after all. I believe I know what to do. These poems should be preserved for the future generation to see. They may be used to better understand the difference between the glamorization of war and the brutal reality of it. This is the closest people will ever come to experiencing the true events of war.
And so concludes our journey through poetry about World War II. Tune in next week for another exciting episode.